Okay, folks, today's topic is a lot about visualizing what is happening. Okay, so I hope you can see we have a pentagon over here for the base, and then we have a prism, right? I took the pentagon and what's called extruded it. I pulled that surface up through space and I capped it. So I'm going to do another one for you. Like I can click over here on the number of sides and I can say, well, I want an octagon this time. So I hit 8. And then I can change the way that the shape is created. Okay, so let me show you here. It's saying where is the center going to be? Let's say we put it at the origin, and I drag this out. Here, let's zoom in on this guy, okay? If I drag this out, you can see that I'm controlling it by the radius. How far is it to one of the vertices, to one of the vertex points, right? So if I try that again, and I change the way I do this, I still have 8 sides. I can change it to anything I want. This is what designers do. They use software like this, right? And so now I'm changing the way that I'm going to control the way the object's made, and you can see I'm making it by the apothem. The apothem goes from the center out to the side perpendicularly, right? So now maybe this is the way I want it as a designer, right? So there's my base edge, okay? What I want to do with that is I want to extrude it, and I select it, and then I can say, okay, let's pull that thing up a certain distance. You know, I'd be more specific. Like right now, you can see, and I can't move my mouse without this thing changing, I don't think, but yeah, I guess I could. I'm pulling it up 16 centimeters, okay? But I could type that in, and it would set it like I could say, I want to do 12 up, and now the thing is 12 tall, okay? You can see I'm missing my bases. The top is empty, the bottom is missing, right? So I'm going to cap the thing, and I say, okay, I'm going to cap that thing right there. That's how I created this one over here. I used whatever it was. I controlled it by its radius instead of by its apothem. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to change. Well, let's just look at this guy. We're gonna cut these guys with a plane. So that sounds kind of weird, right? But I'm going to choose this little tool right over here, and I can make a plane by 4 points around this guy. Okay, it doesn't have to be like a perfect rectangle or anything like that. Let's just say it looks like that. All right, and let's see here. I'm going to take that plane surface, and I'm going to pull the plane up through kind of, you know, this kind of random spot in the middle. It's not quite in the middle. It's a little bit, looks like it's a little bit lower than the middle, right? Like I've gone less than halfway up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split my object. So I'm going to choose that's my object, and then I'm going to choose the surface. That's like my knife, if you will, a razor blade cutting through the middle of the object. So I'm going to select that guy. And now this object is in 2 pieces. Okay, let's pull that up, and let's look. You can see, hopefully, boy. Here, let's do this. Let's move these guys to like the green surface. Okay, so that this bottom and this surface here is going to be in green, hopefully, and this surface is going to be in green. Okay, so let's see here, change object layer. It doesn't look like that's in green yet. Let me try one more time here. Let's see if I change to ghosted. There we go. It was in a different kind of rendering. So now you can see, okay, I got the bottom part and I got the top part over here, and I'm going to turn these guys off, the bottom part that is. And you can see that, you know, when I cut it, there's this piece that's missing down here. That piece that's missing is really the cross-sectional cut. When we cross-sectioned it, you can see I've got an octagon there. So if I was to cap this thing, so let's cap that, and then let's say I split it, now I could grab that bottom part and I could drag it off. This right here, this shape is my cross-sectional surface. Now, you might say, of course that is. I mean, it's the same as the base, right? I just dragged that cross-section piece. Let me undo all this stuff. Okay, let's get back to where we were before. You could say, well, I took this plane and I like that cutting surface right there, and I dragged it up a little ways, and then I split the thing. And of course it's going to be equal to the base, you know, but let's look at this. Let's say I undo this all the way. Let's see if it lets me do that. Right there, I undid my split, okay? And this time, instead of having my plane parallel to the bases, let's say I rotated the plane perpendicular to my bases. Okay, let's see if that looks perpendicular, all right? What would be the cross-sectional cut if I did that? I want you to visualize that for a second. What would be the cross-sectional cut? All right, so let's split it and see if we're in agreement here. Split. I choose my object that, no, not that, not that. Let's see, I rotate a little bit more. I want that, not that over there. Let me hit escape. I think I got too much stuff. Escape, escape, okay. So let's split, and I want to split that guy. And then I want this to be my splitting surface, my cutting plane, okay? And now when I grab this guy, and I drag it out here, maybe it's easier to look here. Can you see that I've got a rectangle right there? Boom, 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 okay? Maybe it'd be easier to see if I went to this side and I said cap that, and then I explode it, and then I choose this surface, and I drag that, see that plane right there? See that guy right there? Let me see if I can keep from rotating it. I can just slide it out this way, okay? So this guy right here, that's just a rectangle. That's called our cross-sectional cut. All right, so let me undo all that stuff, put it all back together here. Let's put it all back together. Control Z. Okay, so the thing is now back is one solid piece, all right? And let's see, what could I do different this time? We could talk about, is it symmetric? Like where I split the object, is it symmetric? So let's split it again. Split, okay, and I say, what's my cutting surface? It's this guy. And then I say, okay, let me try that again here. I go, okay, select the cutting object. Cutting object is going to be this guy. And now hopefully it's split apart. So when they say is it symmetric, like does it have a plane of symmetry, that means did it get sliced into two parts that are equal to each other? Well, it kind of looks like it is right now. So they're going to ask us questions like this. How many planes of symmetry does this thing have? Well, here's one of them. You could divide it that way, right? So let me undo that. Control Z, let's put the object back together. Is there another way that I could put this plane so that it would cut the octagonal prism in two equal parts, okay? So let's say I took this plane right here and I rotated it more like, no, that's not the rotate right there. Let me see here. Where's my rotate button? Right here, this guy. I want to rotate this guy like this, but I'm going to have it go, try to get it to go right through the vertices. Boy, this could be kind of challenging. Because I'm not a rhino expert here. I'm no expert. It would have to be going right through the middle, right? Is that going through the middle? So what I'm asking you to do is use your imagination, okay? If it was going through that vertex over there and that vertex over there, the object would get split into two equal parts again. So when they ask us how many planes of symmetry are there, they're really asking us, if there was a plane right here, that'd be one. If it went through these two vertices, that'd be two. If it went through these two vertices, that'd be three. If it went through these two vertices, that'd be four. So we have 4 planes of symmetry. But it could also be where it was before. Let me do a Control Z and get it back to where it was before. Couldn't it be going like right through the middle of the sides here? So that'd be 5 planes of symmetry. Then we could get another one going this way, that'd be 6. Then we get another one going that way, it'd be 7. And then we have another one going that way, it'd be 8. My goodness, an octagon has a lot of planes of symmetry. If we split it right in the middle this way, the top would be equal to the bottom. That'd be another plane of symmetry. So it can get kind of tricky, all right? So let's review for a second. We have cross-sectional cuts. A cross-sectional cut would be, what is that shape that's touching this this cutting surface. So this, if this was a razor blade and you cut this like it was a cake, you cut it in half, what would that slice right there look like? Well, that was a rectangle, right? Then it would say, it would ask us questions like this. How many planes of symmetry does this thing have? Well, we just counted 8 if the plane is kind of oriented like this, like kind of vertically, that there'd also be one right through the middle this way, so that'd be 9. So it's gonna be a tough question to get right, because you could forget to count one of the planes that would split the thing in half, right? Split it into 2 equal parts. Now, I hope I'm making that clear. Would it change? Would the cross-sectional surfaces change if I was cutting this guy into parts? Okay, so let's get this guy out of the way. Let's say I put it on the purple surface and I turn that guy off so we can't see it. Let's say I just get, so this isn't a distraction, let me get rid of that base surface, and let's grab this guy and let's drag it right through the middle of this pentagonal prism. Okay, so here's my pentagonal prism. If I had the plane sitting that way, I think I would just get a rectangle, right? So let's try that again. My cross-sectional cut, when I split the thing, would be a rectangle. So select cutting object. Hold on one sec here. I had something selected, so let me try again here. So I select the object to split. I want to split that guy, and this is my object that I'm splitting it with. And now when I take one piece and I pull it off the side here, can you see that the cross-sectional cut, see how this is a rectangle right here, right? Well, how can anything be other than a rectangle and a, and the shape of its base, right? When would that ever happen? Let me show you a situation where you wouldn't have a rectangle. So let's say I don't want to save those changes, and let's go to a cone. Here's my cone right here at the top, okay? Oh, here's the lateral area, here's the base, so these two added together would be the surface area. That's what we were doing with this guy. So let me make a plane again, all right? So let's see here, where's my, ooh, I don't want this guy to get cut or, cut into pieces. So let me slide that like off to the side here. And I choose my little plane thing. Thanks for watching my video here, everybody. And I'm gonna try to make it look more like just a plain old square here. Maybe this is just a rectangle, I don't know. So this is the cutting surface, and this cone is what I'm going to cut, okay? Split, if you will. And my cross-sectional cut, we're gonna discuss what they might look like in this situation. So if I just cut right on the base, of course that's gonna be a circle. If I cut somewhere up here, let's do that right now. So I go split, and I choose my object that I want to split and the surface that I want to cut it with. And now I take this guy and I drag it out of here and drop it over there. And you can see, come on. You can see that my cross section here, okay, here, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this guy here. Okay, I'll put it on that surface and then I'll turn it off. You can see that my cross-sectional surface is this circle right here. Now the object that Rhino creates is hollow. There's no, interior stuff like styrofoam or anything. It's just hollow. So it's really a circle. If it was a solid in there, that would be a whole circular plane. Like if I said, let's cap this thing, and I say, okay, let's cap that guy, and now I take that surface and I drag it off right there. No, I don't have it. Let's see if I got it. I want just the top, right? So let's see, how do I get just the top here? Here we go. So that is my cross-sectional cut right there. It's a smaller circle than the base, right? So let's undo all that. Let's put it all back together. Okay, so I've got the solid back as a whole solid. And let's say this time I tilt my plane a little bit. So let's rotate this plane at an angle, and let's do that same split again. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to split this guy with that guy, and now I take this and I hide it. Let's say I put it on the green layer and I turn it off. Okay. Do I have a circle still? No, I don't think I do. I think I've got a kind of like an oval, right? This is called an ellipse. In math, this is called an ellipse. So the cross section now is no longer a circle. that's what they're asking us to do. They're asking us to visualize all this stuff. There's one last thing that they're asking us to visualize, and I think you'll see that it's not too tough to do, okay? So let's say I had some curve down here. Let's see, how should I do that curve? Let's say I make the curve like, oh, like this guy. No, that's not the guy I want. Let's say I do this guy. So I go like this. I go here, 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 and here. And then, okay, so this is my surface. And let's say I'm gonna rotate that surface around the x-axis. Okay, I'm gonna rotate it around the x-axis. And I wanna know what's the three-dimensional shape that's gonna get created. Well, the way you do that on this program is you revolve. And it says select the curves that you want to revolve. Okay, I want to revolve that curve. And then I want to select the axis that I want to revolve it around. That's the line that I'm going to revolve around. I'm going to revolve it around the x-axis here. And then let me go over to three-dimensional. I could rotate it only part of the way. I could rotate it all the way around. So I want to do full circle. And now I'm going to render this thing. And I want you to see if you agree with it. It's kind of like a, I don't know, like a fuel tank on an aircraft. I don't know if you've ever seen those like exterior fuel tanks. I'm not even sure that's what those things are, but you know, something very aerodynamic. You know, maybe a submarine or something like that. That's the surface we got when we rotated or revolved that curve around the x-axis. So let me see if I can change the layer on this guy and turn the layer off for a second. So that curve right there, you've got to imagine that getting rotated around this line, and it created that surface right there, right? So let's see if I change that a little bit. And if you think, oh, I know how to do the homework now. Those are the main concepts, I get it. It's about visualizing objects. Just start on the homework. You don't need to watch anymore. But if you're like, oh, I'm not so sure I know what Nelson's talking about, I'm gonna delete some of this stuff, well, all of it. And I'm going to try another curve. Let's say the curve looked like this, and it stopped like right here, okay? And I want to take that now, and I want to rotate it about this axis. So if I go revolve, and I say that's my object, and this is my axis down here, the x-axis, and I say I want to go full circle, and look at this. It's more like flat on this side over here. In fact, it's hollow again, right? So I'd have to cap it to really see, like, you know, if I wanted to cap this thing here. Now it kind of looks more like that. That would be my solid if I rotated that line, well, not that line, but that curve. Okay, so let's do this. Let's hide that guy. That curve right there, rotated around this line, this axis, generated that shape right there. I hope you can see that. I'm not sure, you know, if I'm not making this clear, you call me over and we'll try some more things. Hey everybody, thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it.